Hi, YouTube. This is Noah Tennant, and
Hey, this is Joseph Benson.
we're doing this video because I'm a big fan of his TikTok, and I bet you guys are too.
I
And
appreciate it.
it's an honor to meet you and talk to you.
Well, you guys are what makes it happen. I continue to do what I do because it's bringing joy and happiness to you guys. Um, and that's really why I'm on there, really, because it makes me feel good knowing that in some way I may bring a smile to your face or somebody else's face, through a reenactment, if that would be the case.
Yeah. Why do you do Robert Williams? Do you have a connection with him? You say?
It's funny that you asked that because Robin Williams and I do have a couple of different connections. Well, first off, we were both born in Chicago. He was born, I believe he was born on the 21st, if I'm not
I
correct.
think so.
And I was born on the July 2nd. We both have had a lot of interesting struggles that we've had to overcome, and some that keep peeking their head every once in a while that we're continually trying to avoid, so to speak.
Yeah.
And personally, Robin Williams was actually there for me by bringing joy to me when I was going through a lot of hard times, being raised on the south side of Chicago. And I'm sure you're well aware of how rough Chicago could be at sometimes.
Yeah.
And so I remember my first viewing of Robin Williams was Mork and Mindy, and his nanu, and I used to look forward to that. At that time, it was pretty much just reruns, because they had already canceled the show. But I used to look forward to that like almost every week, when I was able to see it.
Yeah. It's how long you've been on TikTok? I don't know because I'm pretty new on this app.
I think I've been on TikTok for about under a year. Yeah.
I bet you are excited because everybody thinks you guys are very similar.
Well, I think it's an honor, really, because Robin Williams is such a great person with all of the stuff that. Well, not only was he a great comedian, he was a very talented actor. He was a linguist. Not that many people know that, but he used to be able to speak a lot of different languages fluently. In fact, for some of the roles that he played, he actually learned a foreign language, like Night on the Moscow. I think that's the one where he actually learned Russian. I mean, who can do that, right? But so he learned how to do that, and a lot of his philanthropy, if I'm saying that word right, work, his charitable work that he did on the side. He used to fly himself to different organizations, under the radar, without having the media be involved, to help people out, visit people in their hospital, just all around really cool guy, And one of the things that he used to do for the filming of Mrs. Doubtfire, that maybe you were aware of this, maybe you're not, but he used to hire a lot of the local homeless communities to come and actually go in there and do like the stage hands and extras, etc. So he's trying to employ his people around the neighborhood too, to give them work and give
that's
them
awesome.
something to look forward to. Yeah. So
I did not know that. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Robert Williams, and I know you are clearly. And I was when I saw your video doing that robot's voice, and I'm just like, clearly I need to do this, talk to this guy in person.
Well, I appreciate you reaching out. I mean, there's a lot of Robin Williams that I've done. I've got like 700 something videos. Some of them I put a lot more effort into, and other ones not so much. So I'm going to probably go back over some of the older videos that I already have on there and try to do some of them better. I have a Mrs. Doubtfire scene where he's coming up from behind the fridge and he's like, "Hello," with the
Yeah.
on his face. Yeah, that was fun, and I had to do that in like 3 different takes, but I had to get it right on the last take because, a couple reasons. I used real whipped cream, and I found out later they use like a shaving cream. So every time I put my face in it, it would just warm up the whipped cream. So each and every time I did it again, it would just become more and more liquid, and it would just melt down my face. And by the last take, I was like, I got to get it. I'm running out of battery. I can't. Oh, and that's another thing. The film or the whipped cream created a film across my eyes. And so I couldn't really even see the camera at that point. So the last take, if you find it on my page somewhere, that's the last one. I can't even see the camera. I'm just going by like audible cues. And
Oh my
that's
gosh.
that's what I ended up getting it.
Yeah, it's just like when I first saw your TikTok, it made my day every time I seen your videos, and that means it was an honor to see that every day. And when I messaged you, I'm like, I don't know if you're going to answer or not. I'm like, please answer, because he looks like a kind of guy who kind of reminds me of Rob Williams in his personality.
Well, like I said, I appreciate you reaching out because, that's really what it's about. I don't think that I'm any better than anybody else. I'm just someone that's trying to, a couple things. I'm trying to bring joy to your, to your life if I possibly can. I also like to do acting. I did some independent film type stuff in the past.
Yeah.
So for me, it allows me to do some sort of an artistic outpouring, connecting with the community, and it's easier to be somebody else sometimes than it is to be your own self.
Yeah, I cosplay as Spider-Man usually. That means I know what you feel. That means I know what you feel. And because, then I do Joker too. And then
right on.
That means I have like a kind of split personalities with that characters.
And as you probably can tell from having those different personality types, it's like, how Spider-Man's supposed to react. How his mannerism, his body language, and all that stuff. So when you're being Spider-Man, it's almost like putting on another you, and then you become that person or that entity, whatever it may be, and it's almost like therapy. It's cheaper than therapy. And I don't think that there's going to be any character that's going to be harder in life to be than yourself, because being yourself, you have to roll with the punches. There's no script saying, hey, at this moment I want you to look excited or scared or whatever. This is how you're reacting. This is you. This is life. You only get one shot.
And I saw your, I don't know if it's your daughter, the Frozen one.
Which one was that?
Yeah, I think it was Frozen or something. I saw it something like your video, I think it was. But every time I do my acting is like I like to show my face a lot, not like with a mask, because it shows yourself and somebody who you're supposed to be. I don't know if you have that technique. Any techniques for me for doing that?
I think the best way, if you're asking for any acting advice, is to become that. If that situation is, like for instance, Spider-Man, you're about to go rescue somebody, and these are the dangers that you're going to be facing. Don't act it. You know what I'm saying? Live it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so it becomes real to you. You know what I'm saying? How would you react to a situation like, for instance, here, I got a hot cup of coffee. I'm going to take a drink. Don't act it out. Just, make it real. Like, here's a good example that you can mentally do. If you have a candy, right, one of those really Sour Patch candies, and you can mentally see it. You can feel it in your hand and all that other stuff. And then right before you put it in your mouth, I want you to remember how that tastes. And if you're doing this mental exercise, right before you put this virtual candy in your mouth that's not there, your mouth will start to salivate. You'll get
you're making it right now.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. So your visualization works there too. So if the event that you're trying to react is something dramatic, you throw it in your mind, you know. And a lot of times when people act, and I'm guilty of this too sometimes, I'm trying to act too much. But if you try to just experience, you know, feel it, be it, become it, you are what it is that you're trying to do. Another thing that I noticed that is very helpful if you're doing like ad lib or on TikTok, you have to start it just a little bit before the audio comes on, so your voice will sync up with whatever video that you're doing.
Yeah.
A lot of times people have trouble syncing up with whatever soundbite that they're doing if they're using a soundbite, because the TikToks is just a little bit slower, you know. I don't know if that makes any sense. It's all in the timing.
To me, it does. It's in my head, but I don't know about the viewers. And
oh, okay. So, for instance, it'd be like if I wanted to sing "Row, row, row your boat," and row starts like right now, I'd have to start saying it before I actually heard the row. So it'd be like row, you know. So
yeah,
it's kind of hard to explain without audio. It's kind of hard to, you know, BC used TikTok.
Yeah. And I bet, like, my little brother started watching my TikToks, and then he saw your video with me. And he's like saying, you guys are two of the unique characters in TikTok. And he looks up to you and me in the same time.
Well, I really appreciate that, you know, because it's good to have people, it's good to be able to be a positive influence in people's life to some extent, because then it makes some of the struggles that you may have to go through a little bit worth it, you know, because when you're able to get back to something better and greater than yourself, that's where the real prize is, you know. Sorry about all the traffic.
It's okay.
But yeah, I think if you're on any platform where you're able to improve the life of somebody else, even if it's just to make them smile for a few minutes, you know, I think it's definitely worth your time to take out to be able to do that. You know, as they say, be the change that you want to see in the world, you know, and I really believe that, you know, pay it forward where you can and be the change that you want to see in the world, you know.
Well, what's your favorite Robert Williams movie? If you had to choose one, that's an interesting question for popped in just in my head.
Yeah, no, he's got so many great movies. I mean, it all depends. Like if I were to pick a movie that would personify my life or my transition from childhood into more of an adulthood, I would have to say the movie Hook, because the movie Hook represents all aspects of the life. You know, it sees it when he's an adult, and then it goes back to what his childhood was like. And I think as an adult, we all try to touch bases, and we're constantly reliving our childhood, whether it's good or bad, in a lot of different areas. But for me, you know, when Tinkerbell is saying, you know, that place between awake and asleep, that's where I'll always remember you. To me, that scene represented his transition from, okay, he's finally given his childhood the proper, okay, I'll see you later. Now I'm a man again, and transitioning back into an adult. So acknowledging that he is an adult now, and it's just a transitional thing. It's kind of hard to explain.
Yeah.
But also that childlike wonder that we all must try to hold on to as long as we possibly can. Because even though we age, I think there's a certain part of us that doesn't age and stays ageless.
I call it my inner kid inside me. That's what I call
it. The inner child. We got to listen to the inner child, because if we don't, you know, he starts a tantrum sometimes. You know, my inner child says, hey, you go out and do this, you know, and then my inner adult says, oh man, my body's hurting. You're not like 16 anymore or whatever. So, you know, you feel it when you get older. You really do. But mentally, I think that we can make that decision to stay in a childlike, youthful state, or Peter Pan like, or we can become grumpy old pirates. And I choose to stay in that Peter Pan state for as long as I possibly can.
Oh yeah, I was like thinking when a video you should do Bicentennial Man, that old Robert Williams movie. If you've seen that one.
I have seen the Centennial Man, and actually it's funny you say that. I've gotten quite a few requests for Centennial Man. The only problem that I have with the Centennial Man is, well, there's a couple, the sound bites, but also is finding something. I'm sorry, one of my neighbors. Is finding something makeup wise or something like that I can actually say, hey, yeah, I'm trying to do it. That is comparable to what they have going on.
You ever tried like craft foam?
Well, we just got done moving around a lot. So, finances be what they are.
Because that's like how I do my cosplays. If it needs very cheap.
Yeah. It's something definitely to look into. On some things where there's no way that I could possibly do, like for the genie, in Aladdin. A lot of those, what I do is I just make it look like I'm in a recording studio and actually doing the soundbite.
I like when you do that. I like how you do that. It makes it sound like you are in it.
Exactly.
Like behind the scenes. I love
it. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's what I try to do is make it as believable as I possibly can. And unfortunately, sometimes I have to put my own artistic spin on it too. Have you seen the one when he's in the bathtub?
Oh yeah, that one was funny as heck.
Oh, okay. Now see, that's funny because like I behind the scenes on that one took forever to do for a couple of reasons. Well, getting the thing set up, the water temperature, get it in there, it's like too cold, too hot, shrinkage, that kind of thing. And then there's the electrical thing too, because I actually used a real phone in there, and one of those old school ones that you plug in, and I'm like, and then I got my box lighting in there, so I'm like, I'm gonna electrocute myself over TikTok. Oh my god! But no, I ended up getting out of there, and it was a fun thing to do. I think the worst part, for me anyway, is after I get done doing the TikTok, and then it's over.
Yeah.
Because you put all this effort into something where it's however long it takes you to do it, and then it's over, and then you may or may not get any views. And again, it's not about the views so much as it is trying to share the artistic side of what I do, and trying to make people laugh. I mean, whether I have how many followers I have or 1 million followers, you and me are going to be the same. I mean, it doesn't matter to me whether you're big or small. You're a person, I'm a person, and that's how everybody should be treated.
Yep. Any future ideas for your TikTok?
Well, I love Rob Williams. I really do. I've done other people, and some of it's good, but people generally. One person actually came out right and said to me, he wasn't very nice about it, but I appreciate his honesty. He's like, just stick to the effing Rob Williams. I'm like, okay. But like, no, seriously though, I mean, I will do whatever, whatever's clever. I venture away from Robin Williams every once in a while just to kind of change it up because I don't want people to get bored with it.
Yeah, you have to always shake stuff up. Shuffle the deck.
Shuffle the deck, yeah, keep them guessing. I'm gonna step right inside my house here. I'm freezing.
Yeah, it's getting cold out there where I am at too.
Where are you at?
I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm originally from Ohio. That means I know the weather's like.
I'm actually I'm in Forks, Washington right now. Where they based that book.
I was in Oregon for it. I was in Oregon for a year. For a year.
Well, what part?
They called it Brookings.
Oh, Brookings is where I was actually going to originally move to when I first came. Well, see, I moved around so much. I moved from Florida to helped my mother move to Colorado, and then I moved myself to Oregon. But Brookings was the place I was going to go originally, but we ended up in Coos Bay, Oregon.
Oh.
And, yes, and from Coos Bay we moved up to Forks, Washington.
I would recommend it like for like a visiting area. A lot of good. Yeah, and there's an ice cream shop. I think it's called Slugs and Stones, and you should take your kids there. They have like slime. They have like slime ice cream. You can put slime on it, like a sour slime. It's good for kids.
What?
And inner kids, I should say too.
I think I have to step back outside. I'm kind of breaking up a little bit, my friend.
Yeah, that's cool how you're in Forks, all the way in Forks.
Hold on. Can you hear me? Can you hear me still?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's breaking up a little. It's probably my end. I'm going to step back out front so I can see if I can get a better signal.
I can hear you better now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Forks is beautiful and everything, but the signal that we get out here is poor at best.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it goes. There it goes.
It's called Slugs and Stones, and I would recommend it.
Okay, yeah. So if I ever get back out to Oregon, which I probably will, I'll definitely go look at it. Slugs and Stones?
Yep.
For sure. How about you? Do you have any recommendations recommendations or requests? Or you said Bicentennial Man. I'll try to see something on that.
And I forget what the movie is, but he's wearing the clown nose. You know what I'm talking about, but
there's actually two. With the Patch Adams, right, with the clown nose. I just did one where he was acting like a bumblebee. That's on my page.
Okay.
And then somewhere way down my thing, I did another Patch Adams. There's a few of Patch Adams on there, but I'll probably do some more. There's another one too that I was thinking about doing when I can actually get some cosplay stuff. It's I think it's called Toys.
Oh, you seen that movie?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun to look back at it. When I was in the theater and I seen it in the theater, I really didn't like it just because it was so weird. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't necessarily bad. It was just I went in there
a unique
expecting
movie.
Something else. Yeah. I went in there expecting something else than what it was. It's kind of like comparable to like when the new Aladdin, with Will Smith. All right. Yeah. If you went into it knowing that it's not Robin Williams and didn't try to compare it, it turned out it was a decent movie, Yeah. But if you went in there trying to compare it to Robin Williams and thinking it was gonna be like Robin Williams, and it was like,
I liked it because it's a unique, different take to Genie we are used to.
For sure.
If they wanted something like Robert Williams, they could just use all those footage they had.
Well, see, that's part of the reason why they didn't. And I got the insight from somebody that's actually out there. He says that the reason that they didn't use Robin Williams' voice was because in his clause, his contract before he died, he didn't know he was going to die, but in his contract, they couldn't use any of his sound bites without his permission. Well, if he's not here, even after death, that clause is still in effect. It's kind of like he copyrighted his own, so. But anyhow, that actually stemmed from the first time he was dealing with Disney, and they had a falling out. Then they made themselves better, and with each other again. So it's unfortunate because they had enough audio to do whatever the heck they wanted to soundbite it here and there, move it around, and superimpose his face if they wanted to, and that would have worked out. But it was very interesting seeing Will Smith's spin on it.
Yeah, I like the movie personally, but. It's still Robert Williams is the original Genie in my heart, always.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And who wouldn't have loved to see him do the remake as a live action with Robin Williams, with his face on the Genie? That would have been really cool, But
I don't know if you've seen this video on YouTube, but I saw it. It was like Robert Williams and Will Smith singing together. That Genie, Mr. Lead. I don't know.
I didn't see that, but what I did see was there was somebody that made a trailer, excuse me, where they actually did take his face and put it on Will Smith's character, and that was pretty cool, you know. And you know, I wish he was still alive so we could actually got what his take was on it, you know. He may or may not have wanted to do it, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't think Robin Williams would have not liked Will Smith's
I think
performance.
I think it would be like he would be like saying, "Okay, kid, let's see what you can do."
Yeah, yeah, you know, and because he was a very generous, giving person, I think that he would have uh, talked it up, you know, because everybody has their time in the sun, you know, and and don't mistake what I'm saying. I'm not saying that his time in the sun was over by any means, but uh, I think on some levels, he might have been okay with the way he portrayed it, you know.
The weird thing is, I had a dream when that movie came out in theaters, and I had a dream of Robert Williams and Genie and Will Smith's Genie talking, saying, then Robert Williams just shows up and says, that was a good movie, guys. Keep it up. Those two good movies."
Yeah, I think because Robin Williams was all about making people laugh and being happy. I think that if he had actually got to see the movie, I think he probably would have enjoyed it, especially because it gives the new generation, uh, you know, an experience with the character. Because new generations might not actually know Robin Williams like our generation does, but they,
Mm-hmm.
for whatever reason, will know Will Smith. So the transition between those two would probably be pretty good.
Yeah,
You
I'll
know?
send you that song. You know what I'm
Oh yeah,
talking
please do.
about, because it's very funny. Because it's a very interesting, because they sing one part and then the other sings the other part, and they merged it really good.
For sure, for sure. I like the shirt, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. It's all the battles are written on it.
Oh, those are words. Yeah, very cool.
There's a better look of it.
That's cool, man. You know, when I was
Yeah.
younger, I actually had all the original Star Wars, Star Wars characters. You know, and the Ewok Village and Darth Vader and all that. And being a little shit growing up, you know, I was rough on my toys, and that so I don't have any of them anymore. Even the battle shit or
We
what
have
was the
the
name of it?
X-wings. The X-wings.
Yes,
I have
yes.
my grandparents have the original X-wing still,
Oh,
and
okay.
I have what I grew up. I grew up with during the prequel era,
Hmm.
and I have
I
like
wish I would
Anakin's
have held
ship.
on to those. Oh
I have
yeah,
Anakin's ship.
man. I wish I would have held on to those. You know, even if it wasn't for the monetary value that they are
Yes.
now,
Let's
but
say
just so that my
here's
son could be able to play with them.
let's see. Here's one of my web shooters I use for my Spider-Man.
Oh, very cool.
And every time I do a video, like the one I did with you was downstairs in my house, because I'm like, it kind of looked like the ball from that scene,
Right
kind of
on.
for me. And then I got a question for you, a personal question. Is that when you were making that, were you actually doing the voice, trying to make the voice yourself?
I'm sorry. What was
Like,
that?
you know, when you did that, like he's like singing, it's like, what sign should I make? Were you moving your when you're like Gricola sing?
Oh, Ricola.
Were you actually doing it?
There was a couple of times I did it. The last one, I'm not sure if I did it or not
It
because.
just looked like you did.
Oh
Personally,
yeah.
I'm
No,
like,
well, I
that's
was.
applause.
Yeah, no, I was doing it a couple of times, and the neighbors next door were thinking that maybe I was murdering a cat or something. So they came over like, everything all right? And I'm like, yes, everything's fine. So then after that, I was just kind of like going through the motions more than anything. I didn't need them calling the police thinking I was, in trouble over here or murdering their cat or something.
Yeah, I know what that's like. When I do my Spider-Man, everybody's like, "What are you talking about? You're not in the."
Yeah, it's funny too because like if you got your headphones in and you're jamming out, you're singing, Eye of the Tiger or whatever it may be, right? And then you hear yourself. Someone's recording you when you're hearing yourself for the first time sing. You're like, oh my gosh, what is that?
It's embarrassing. That's what
Well,
it is.
the thing is, you can't hear yourself like other people hear you. So, you can go like this, which will give you a better idea, so you cup it so you can hear. You can hear yourself really well in a sound booth because you can, like, up against a piece of paper or something on your face.
Yeah.
So you can actually hear how you sound. But if you're just belting them out in the shower or something like that, it doesn't give you that whole reverb like you need to hear it. But with the headphones on, man, I've done the same thing. Like, I'm sitting there singing along. Ain't never had a friend like me, one of those deals.
Yeah.
And I go back and I'm like, wow, that doesn't sound anything like Robin Williams, And then, yeah, so his voices he did are just absolutely amazing. One of the things I've been trying really hard to do and I can't do, and it really stresses my voice to try, is when he does a little girl voice, the little kid.
Oh, he's like the Chinese Schwartz or something like that.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
I can't do it either, but it's almost like he's talking inward, but it's not.
They must. I know it's his real voice, but I don't know.
Oh,
it's like he's so good at it. I can't. I try to do my impressions. I do Yoda. I am.
Yeah, right.
It's like that's easy, but then it's like you have to move your mouth a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, Joker right here. He talks like this. He sounds like old Swether.
Yeah, and it's just amazing how versatile it is. And sometimes, like you said, it all depends on where you position your tongue in your mouth or the way you hold your mouth in order certain characters, I'm all shivered and stuff out here. But so that's going to affect my diaphragm. But yeah, if you have your mouth in a certain position, you're like, you can just spit out all kinds of different things that you think sounds good. And then you have to listen to it on tape and you're like, oh no, I need to drop it down lower. I need to hear a little bit more or a little higher, depending on what it may be.
Okay, can you do any impressions of any characters? It doesn't need to be Robert Williams. It can be other things too.
I can do a couple of different things, like it's funny that you asked me right off the top, but like, if you were to try to do most of the time, if I was to hear it first, then I could probably do it better.
Like I do Sidious too. It's like dark side of something dark side. It's like that. And Robert Williams actually inspired me to do that kind of stuff. That means.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that means he's like,
do
the weird voice.
The like Elmer Fudd, but I'm not sure if I can do it now because my throat's kind of sore. But he's like, I can't even do it now. It's like, I can't do it. I was gonna like, very, very quiet, but I can't do it. My throat's not working right. But like Elmer Fudd, I used to do him. Marvin the Martian, I think, I can do some of him. Give me a line. What's he saying? Something about like plutonium.
Yeah, something. You can say something on plutonium.
Yeah, it's like
something on plutonium. Yeah.
Oh, I'm drawing blanks here.
I can do that guy from Tombstone and Ghost Rider, the Nicolas Cage, and he's like, firewood, you see your dogs like this all the time.
Oh yes. I was running around the house earlier and I was doing Anthony Hopkins, is it? I think that. So. But he is all like
it's hard to like think of it.
I'm trying to think of some dialogue that she might know and try to get into the character. If I was able to hear his voice a little bit better, I'd be able to do it.
Yeah.
I can't hear it.
Well, what about, can you do any Star Wars characters like how I can do Sidious and Yoda?
Oh shoot!
For a joke.
No,
this is just for a joke.
Oh my god, it was my throat. I was trying to do that.
I can't do it either. That's how George Lucas does it. He's like, moves his neck. There you go. It sounds like him.
But yeah, I mean, you kind of caught me on a time where my throat's a little hoarse. But I used to be able to go. This will probably destroy my throat, but I'm gonna try it anyway. Hold on. Oh shoot. Oh yeah, because this is supposed to be okay. This is supposed to be Mark Hamill.
Okay.
My throat's messed up. So what are you doing? My son keeps walking back and forth. And to all my enemies. Oh shit, my throat's fucked up. You fought me and lost. I can't do it. I can't get deep enough. Sorry, guys.
Are you trying to do Joker? Just like
Yeah,
the Joker. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen.
So you know, I'm talking.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. It hurts your
real.
throat after a while.
Yeah,
and plus with your, yeah, I think we should get like getting to the end because it's already 35 minutes. Believe it or not, that's
like
how.
I said, yeah. I'm just like a normal person. You know, I want to have fun, bring smiles to your faces, and just keep the smiles going.
That's a good
I
one.
I wish my throat was in better shape so I can play back and forth.
Maybe we can talk personally, like without this video.
Oh, the camera doesn't bother me none. It's just
no,
like
no. I mean, like maybe we can talk about impressions and maybe other time.
Oh,
just
yeah,
me and you.
For sure.
It's awesome because I'm like, I was thinking actually getting you like the Spenders, Robert Williams, like Rambo. Spenders Forge. I'm just like, I don't know if you have any pairs of those.
Oh yes, I do have his suspenders from Mork and Mindy, where he's like, Nanu. He's like, Nanu. I do have that, and he's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm making my stand. He's like, what? I'm making my stand sitting down, you know? And
my friend,
you know, the one scene where he's talking about the eggs.
Oh yeah.
Fly, be free. You know that?
Yeah, every time I do that, I think that.
But yeah, I mean, I'll have to talk to you again, and when my throat's a little bit better, I'll try to do a little bit more.
I don't know if you grew up with seen Goonies.
Oh yes.
Have you been in that area in Washington?
Oh,
it's near Seattle.
Yes, that's Cannon Beach.
Yeah. Have you been there?
And Astoria. Yes, I've been there. That was really, really cool. They have all kinds of different. Well, I went to the jail there. Not that I was in jail, but I went to the jail there and got to see the cell where they filmed. You know, where the what's their names? The Cartellis or the Cartellis?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I don't know.
Kind of like he was hanging himself.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where I got to see that. That was really cool.
Have you seen the house? That's a good question.
Oh yes, yes. It's up on top of the hill. We walked up there.
It's a beautiful house.
There for a while, they were the people who were living there. They were being really
picky
with who they let to come up. That's a good word. And they weren't letting people come up. And at one time, they actually put tarps in front of it to try to mess up people's photos, and they were just being real, you know. But if you have something, if you're living in a house that is as iconic as the Goonies, I think that you should know that people are going to come by and take a look at it, you know.
No, somebody was talking there. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. No worries.
I just hear the Disney soundtrack in the back, the opening. It's like do. Yeah,
dead silence over there.
And let's see. Yeah, and let's see. I don't know if you know this, but Kindergarten Cop was filmed in the same location.
I took my son to that, and I actually got a picture of him sitting on the doorstep. Because again, I was going to move to Oregon a long time ago, and I was like, "Hey, if I move here, my son can actually go to the school where because he was young at the time, where Kindergarten Cop was filmed." But yeah, Kindergarten, and there's another movie. I think it was like a horror movie that was filmed there too.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't know the name.
Yes. Exactly. So that was, we've seen that as well, and I think there's another. There are a couple other movies.
Have you been down in the beach? That was kind of cool. The beach. I went down the beach and sea lions were everywhere.
Oh wow! No, I didn't get to go down to the beach. I mean, I went to Cannon Beach in that area. That was cool. but where they drive the cars onto the beach, I didn't get to see that. I was kind of pressed for time, unfortunately, so I didn't get to do that. But,
yeah. That's yeah, I would recommend Brookings and Gold Beach. Those two places. And the Redwoods Forest where they filmed Star Wars.
The Redwoods are always awesome to go to, for sure. I've been there a couple times. I would like to go back and spend a little bit more time in there.
Go in the place where they filmed Star Wars.
For sure.
And they have a Bigfoot area, too. And the trees of... I don't remember. The Mysteries of Trees, I think it was called. And it's like, you would love it, and the kids will love it too. And they're like, take you in a glass container, and it takes you up into the redwoods.
Sounds beautiful. I'll have to check it out for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you have any advice or any questions or requests, or just want to talk, feel free to hit me up anytime, man.
Yeah, we're a little time difference, but you can just text me, and I'll text you.
All right, yeah, it's 5:00 here. You're Eastern Standard. I'm Pacific.
I'm 8:55 right now, exactly.
Yeah, 8:55. I'm 5:55. So we're about 3 hours behind each other. 4 hours.
I have some friends in Oregon. That means I know what time it is over there now.
Right. But
yeah, it's a beautiful night for me, and I hope it is for you too.
Yeah, likewise. Many blessings to you, your followers, and your family, and my main advice to anybody who's going to possibly see this, that wants to do anything on TikTok or just anything in general, do it for you. Don't do it for any other reason but you. Make it fun. People get lost in the whole, I got to stay with the trends. I got to do this, that, and the other. That's all BS, man. You originally downloaded this just to have fun. And, if you get TikTok famous in the meantime, then, whatever. But, honestly, everything fades, man. Everything fades. You may be here one day, but the next you're going to be here. Everything cycles, You
have to go in the circle of life, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. And like I said, there's people that I know that actually have like 1 million followers and so on that...
I only have a very few, and you've seen that.
Right.
And I don't care, because I used to know a kid who had cancer, and I want to shout him out. I know he's long gone, but he died 2 years ago. And his name was Ethan Krish.
Ethan Kirsch?
Krish. Yeah.
Ethan Krish.
Yeah. And he was a remarkable boy. He had cancer. It's sad. Horrible. He was the best thing ever happened to me. He touched my heart, and ever since, I felt like I needed to be somebody like that.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. You always want to make a difference, because you just don't know. You hear 1 second, you're on top of your game, and then the next thing you're not, man. And life can happen in an instant. So that's why I was saying, with your friend who passed away, God rest his soul.
Thank you very much. I'll tell his mom's going to see this video too. That means.
Okay.
Thank you for saying that. She will be appreciated. I mentioned him because he's very legend.
Yeah. Yeah. Bless you and bless your family and your friends, and it's always hard when we have a loss, and, hopefully, well, in my beliefs, if where he is now is in a much better place than where he is before his passing, because it's a horrible, horrible disease. I've known a couple of people that have,
yeah, and he died exactly on Halloween. He was supposed to go home and dress up, and I bet he would love to see your videos. I hope he sees me talking to you. In a way, that's my beliefs. I don't know if we have the same beliefs or not.
I believe there's something greater than we actually know, and I think that we know so little, but energy and life goes on no matter what. Even though we may not be breathing, I think that the essence that made your friend who he is or was transforms from this personal body into the eternal, whatever the eternal may be, heaven, energy forces, whatever it may be, I believe that your friend is probably still around on some levels, you know?
He was like my little brother's best friend, but he was like 8 years old. But he was like everybody's friend, if you know what I mean by that.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Most
And
definitely.
he
What was your friend into? Like, what was he?
he's superheroes, a lot of superheroes. They did Make a Wish a lot for him in Cleveland.
Well, if you come up with something that you think that your friend would have liked if he was alive, still.
That's why I'm doing Spider-Man. That's why, because him.
Okay.
That
Well,
inspired
if
me
I
to
could
do more.
dedicate a video to your friend on behalf of your friend, just shoot me his information, his name and all that, and what
Yeah, I'll
he
send it to
was
you.
really into. And if there's something that I can do to either bring awareness to whatever his cause may have been, or just even him, or just some sort of something that I can do to give him a shout out to the people that doesn't know him.
If you look up Fox 8 News, Ethan
Okay.
Krish.
Ishin Krish?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll send it to you, a video of it.
Okay, yeah, for sure. And I'll work with you, and we'll try to do a TikTok video dedicated to the memory of your friend.
No, thank you. Well, I guess we can let this go, and then we can talk a little bit afterwards.
For sure.
About it.
Well,
because I don't want
to take it. Go ahead.
I just don't want to like keep this forever.
Oh no, it's all good, brother. Hey,
Yeah.
I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to question me, talk to me, get to know me a little bit as a person. And I wish you and your family the best and your continued endeavors very success.
Thank you to you too. The same to you.
I appreciate you.
And tell your little kids have fun when you have a dad like that.
Well, thank you very much, man. I appreciate you and have a great night. Thank you so much, buddy.
Okay, this is Noah Tennant and
Joseph Benson.
Thanks, guys, for watching. Bye.